There seems to be this big misconception about me that people seem to have a secret problem with without actually telling me. So, me and my husband yesterday stayed up until 5 o'clock in the morning, this morning, because yesterday was a big feelings day. And yesterday we really went into deep about the manipulation and lies of the people we lived with from October till January before they so rudely kicked us out. And we both started telling each other the truth of what happened for both of us individually. And a lot of shit came out. One of the things that came out was the 53-year-old man has a problem apparently with the fact that I told him when I would do stuff like clean the bathroom or do certain chores and stuff, I would let him know, hey, I got that done for you. Now, I'm going to explain why. Apparently, he thought I was just asking for praise and bragging about what I was doing. And I was just seeking validation. So let me make this very clear why I do that. All right, since he wants to be a fucking dickwad and not ask questions and pretend that he knows everything because he's 53 years old and dying of cancer and he thinks that's an excuse to be a fucking dick. Abusive dick, mind you. Oh, and his son, the M guy that was supposedly our friends. Yeah, he hates me because I show him what he hates about himself. It's his own self-hatred. He straight up admitted that to my husband. So yeah, he just hates himself and he hated the fact that I showed him parts of him he still needs to heal from. So to that, I say, get therapy, you fucking idiot. Not my fault you didn't like the mirror you saw. It is not my fault you don't want to accept the fact that you got some fucking shit to work through. That's not my problem. That's a you problem. Anyways, back on the 53-year-old man who thought that it was a problem that I told him what I was doing. Now I'm going to put a trigger warning on this for DV and abuse. I was with my ex, who is 16 years older than me, for 4.5 years. It was a very dark, abusive time of my life. He forced me to be a drug addict, to be an alcoholic. I could go on with the things he forced me to do. But one of the things that was my key to survival was asking permission and telling him my every fucking move in order for me to stay alive. For 4.5 years, I had to ask permission to speak, to go to the bathroom, to drink water, to do anything. I had to ask permission. This man would beat me the fuck up and try to kill me if I didn't ask permission, if I didn't tell him my every waking move and all of this shit. When you literally are in survival mode for 4.5 years, being forced to tell someone your every waking move and ask permission for everything, it kind of fucks with your head because I had to do it in order to stay alive for 4.5 years. So since he wants to just be a dickwad and not ask questions and just make assumptions just like his little 3-year-old stepson, let me just make this clear. Maybe, just maybe, it's not about you, sir. Maybe, just maybe, it has nothing to do with validation. Maybe I'm not an attention seeker like you think, for some reason think I am. Maybe I've just been traumatized for my entire life and you don't know my story. And the reason you don't know my story is since you had such a big issue with me not telling you my entire life trauma for 30 years of my life in less than a month of knowing your dumbass. Obviously, it was not safe to fucking tell you. You know what turned me off with telling him anything? Was the first incident of him screaming in my face and saying something nasty to me. So my cat was living in our car at the time. When we had our car, it was parked out front and our cat was living in the car and it started getting very, very cold. I felt very bad for my cat. So one night I stayed out there with my cat. There were a couple nights that I stayed out there with my cat because I did not feel comfortable just leaving her out there in the freezing cold by herself. So I went out there with her. He did not like that. He did not like that at all. In fact, he came to the car, screamed in my face, and told me that I was making the neighborhood trashy. No, sir, your attitude and your psychoness is what makes a neighborhood trashy. Anyways, yeah, that was the first time that I knew that this man was not a safe person to tell my story to. So literally, he has no one to blame about me not opening up to him except him. Literally has no one to blame. Neither of these men do. The only person in that fucking family that I have no issue with is the mama bear of the equation, the wife in question. She was a fucking angel. And come to find out, she had been defending me the entire time we lived there, trying to explain to these fuckers that I'm a traumatized person and I was under intense amount of stress, being homeless, financial issues, government stuff, family stuff, and all the other shit. And you think it's so funny how people who yell the loudest about someone being toxic end up being the ones that are toxic. It's so funny how the ones who scream, "Oh my God, she's so horrible and toxic," ends up being the ones to be fucked. It's called narcissism, honey. I hope you're happy with yourself. And karma's a bitch, so enjoy that. Kisses.